Hey guys, vítаємо and welcome to Behind the Curtain with Vohon. I'm your host, Marissa Karpiak. I'm here with guests Trish Kushniruk and Garrett Nestorowich, our artistic directors of Vohon. And today we're watching a clip from Vohon's 30th anniversary production of Ignite, a Harmony of Stories. So what are we looking at here, Trish?
Well, what we're about to watch is the sort of the beginning of our love story. So again, thinking about Ignite, we wanted to share the light side of fire. So the passion, that piece that comes from fire. Obviously, our name is Vohon. And so the beginning of this story, we wanted it to be a really sort of lighthearted boy meets girl. I almost say like Archie comic sort of feel when I look at this. And so what we're looking at right now is setting up for what I like to call the meet cute of our main characters. And so as you can see, each of the dancers are sort of kind of portraying their own story within the park. So we've got, people having a tea party, flying a kite, playing baseball. You can see somebody riding a bicycle. And what's really interesting about this scene for me is that we really enabled our dancers to create their own characters and their own stories. And then we just sort of gave notes and edits as we needed to. But for the most part, like this is all their own theater background, their own storytelling, their own portrayal of character, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, I remember working on this was like so much fun. Like I'm one of the girls playing croquet right now. And like I remember just coming up with our storyline was just so much fun to be creative like that. That's what I think is like really cool when you watch back to this show. There's so much rewatchability with it because so many different things happen. Like that thing with Elizabeth. I had no idea they did that, which was really cool. And Garrett, you mentioned before that the concept of like what we looked like actually wasn't originally what you had planned. What was your original plan for what all the characters you wanted them to look like?
Well, when we started talking about the light side of fire and we got into a love story and a boy meets girl, and I kind of wanted to take it a little more over the top maybe than Trish did. I was, thinking I had in my mind full Cirque du Soleil makeup, right done up, right, just kind of make it as over the top and as whimsical as possible. But to your point, as far as the character portrayals that everyone worked hard on putting together, I think one of the great things that Trish and I had the opportunity to do, and as Trish mentioned, so many of these characters kind of just ran with themselves, and to be in front of the class, and every week and in every rehearsal things would change and get better or worse, and we would adapt, and dancers would adapt, and you know what, we could watch this show 20 times in a row and it would never be the same twice. And that's what Trish and I love about the live theater portion of our shows is everything is almost new every time. So you see real reactions, you see all this what we call character work or character dancing on stage. It's because they're lucky enough to dance with someone next to them that's bringing that character out. So those type of things are just so awesome to watch.
Yeah, and I remember like the little conversations that we used to have with each other, be like, okay, this is what I'm saying here, this is what you're doing here. And that's kind of how we came up with that character part. Also, fun fact, that hat is actually Trish's hat that she sacrificed for the sake of this show. So Trish, kind of what was your idea behind kind of like the character parts in this scene in particular? Like what was the motivation behind this scene?
Yeah, I think what we were really aiming for was just some authenticity in how our two main love story characters meet, and how they kind of, that first feeling of, Twitterpation, if you will, right? And then that was the intention of this particular scene, was how do we show that? And then of course, this story of, he wants to go after the girl, and the boys are like, no, stay with us, let's hang out, let's have a good time. and then they get into this, and that was, I think, part of it too. Like, what's the obstacle, right? If you just went chasing after the girl, our story would be over. So the idea of, like any good love story, there's got to be a reason that it doesn't work out so easily right from day one, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. And it is, we've said, young love, what is young love? We've asked that question to you and Jared, and young love is still being with your friends and being, pulled to your new partner that you're, maybe starting to like, and there is kind of a back and forth, and this is what these guys are doing. They're like Trish mentioned, just stay with us, hang with us. We're we're kind of the guys to hang with, and
yeah.
he's got an eye pointing somewhere else, right?
Yeah, I liken this dance to, I call this like the Backstreet Boys dance. I played this over top of the Backstreet Boys music. It worked out perfectly. Awesome. Well, as much as I'd love to keep going, that's all the time we have for today. So дякую, and thank you for joining me, everybody. My name's Marissa Karpiak. Thank you for Trish and Garrett for chatting today. If you like this video, hit subscribe, give us a follow on Instagram @Vohon Dancers to keep in touch with us. До побачення!